This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Rikky, Morrisette, Lorenzo, Eddie Costello, LightBlindedFool, and the Amyrlin seat. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Simulated Eon, Lord Michael, and Chris Peterson to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really couldn't do this without you, and we really appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 12 of A Crown of Swords.
Yeah, so Chapter 12 is A Morning of Victory.
That's right.
And we're just doing the one because this is a big, long chapter.
It's a big, long chapter.
Yeah.
And some things happen.
They do.
I am really, really proud of Egwene. The majority of this chapter, things are going well and looking up and going good. And then, it's so cringy. It gets the most cringy this book has been so far.
Okay.
So
Is
cringy.
cringy the right word?
Yeah, I'm just... I cringe away from the whole scene. I hate it so much.
Okay.
And as a side note, we're sick.
Yes.
And don't sound very good.
Yeah, but we have to do this, so it's happening.
We have to do it. We've pushed it back as far as we could. We're feeling physically okay.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Physically okay. That's a good way to put it. Okay.
Yeah, but...
Mentally okay.
Mentally okay.
We're doing okay.
Yeah. The family's quarantining. We're all a little stir-crazy.
Yeah.
Here we are.
But let's talk about Egwene's problems.
Yeah, I actually am excited for this.
Sure.
It's gives us something to do.
Okay.
I hope people can get past the...
Yeah, I'm sure that they have to deal with it, so you know what?
Okay.
And I'm going to have to resign my post as the real Brett, I think, because I made mistakes. I was wrong. I basically missed some things.
Uh-oh.
So we have to backtrack just a little bit and make some corrections.
Well, yeah, and there's been some things happening in our Discord.
Sure.
Because people are not quite sure that you're real.
That's fair. And you know what? I'm not always sure either, so we're just going to go with it. So the first correction we have to talk about is the one that I made a mistake on in Chapter 9 when we learn about the one tower law that limits the power of the Amyrlin, which is basically that the Amyrlin scene isn't allowed to be unnecessarily endangered, so unless the White Tower is declared to be at war by the Hall of the Tower, the Amyrlin has to get the lesser consensus before deliberately doing dangerous stuff.
Right, and we had a discussion about what lesser consensus means.
Yeah, because there's not technically like an actual definition, but there is a Robert Jordan definition of lesser consensus, and it turns out I missed a glossary definition.
Ooh.
Sort of, because there's an explanation buried in the page-and-a-half glossary definition for the Hall of the Tower.
No.
So I have like an excerpt from that.
Okay.
I'm going to read you, because I'm not going to read you like the whole page and a half. So,
okay.
There are two levels of agreement that may be required for items to pass the Hall, the lesser consensus and the greater. So the greater consensus requires that every sister who is present must stand, and that a minimum of 11 sitters be present. So the presence of at least one sitter from each Aja is also required, except when the matter before the hall is the removal of the Amyrlin or keeper, in which case the Aja from which she is raised will not be informed of the vote until after it has been taken.
Oh my god.
Alright, so that's the greater, so everybody's got to be on the same page.
Okay.
Everybody's got to be there, all the Ajas, unless...
Right, got it.
an Amyrlin is leaving.
Got it.
Now, the lesser consensus, which is what we were talking about, also requires a quorum of 11 sitters, but only 2/3 of those present need to stand for an item to pass. So we're looking 2/3 of the 11 sitters present. Another difference is that there is no requirement for all Ajas to be represented in the lesser consensus, except in the case of a declaration of war by the White Tower, one of several matters left to the lesser consensus, which many may think would require the greater.
Okay.
So, that was a small snippet of the big, long glossary definition.
So if you're interested, go read that.
Go read that. But, just for the record...
It's there.
It is there.
It's
and
there, and it's in there, and
was
you
wrong.
missed
I
it,
missed
and
it.
somebody else found it.
And they are now dubbed the real Brett.
Okay.
For now, but I will reclaim my spot. There's another book correction for specifically the chapter we're talking about, Chapter 12,
Ooh, a book correction.
A book correction. Yeah. And
Is that the fun fact?
It's a doozy.
Ooh.
It's a fun fact of book corrections.
Here we go.
Okay. So in earlier copies of the book, if anyone's reading the exact same copy, it's page 305. I don't know how that's going to translate. But when we get to the part with Morel and Nassau, there's a sentence that says, the green sister and the brown eyed her warily. However, Nassau is yellow, not brown.
Oh my god.
So in our copies, at least mine, it is now properly corrected to the green sister and the yellow.
Okay, so I was like, I didn't pick up on a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. Huge mistake. How could you get that wrong?
One. That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
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 They're not Adelius and Van Dien.
There you go.
Am I right?
Wow,
Green and
that
brown?
was good.
Thank you.
You're getting really good at that. Okay.
I'm getting okay at that.
Yeah.
I told you, very specific information.
Stuff that's not even really that important. You're just like picking up.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about last time we were here, because it's actually been a little while for us.
Yes.
We've gone through our whole backlog, and now we're up to the wire.
We had to take some time off. So.
Yeah, but here we are, last time on. Egwene met up with the Wise Ones in Tel'aran'rhiod, and, she's worried about what's going on with Rand and Cairhien.
Yeah.
Now, the Wise Ones don't give her anything.
Correct.
They give her some weird Aes Sedai tricksy information.
Yeah, and she doesn't really seem to pick up on it.
No. Oh, no.
Like that they're hiding stuff.
Yeah, no, she doesn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, we have Pheolain and Theodrin.
Sure.
Swear fealty to Egwene.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all at once, a bunch of people wanted Egwene's attention, and now she's going off with Brynn to see something.
Yes. Good summary. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened last time.
Yeah, there's a lot of little duo pairs, and we're going to have to break them down a little bit this chapter.
There are duo pairs, aren't there?
There are. Yeah.
They're all sort of breaking off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, chapter 12 is called A Morning of Victory.
Okay.
And it certainly seems that way, doesn't it?
It starts off really good.
For Egwene, the entire thing seems great.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, most of it seems okay.
Okay.
Then you're like, wow, A Morning of Victory. This is going to be so good for Egwene. Victory. Somebody
Did you pick up on the
victory.
chapter symbol immediately too?
Yeah, that's what you're interrupting me.
Okay,
Because I was going to say, you're like, wow, A Morning of Victory. I hope that's for Egwene. And then you see the Forsaken chapter symbol, and you're like, uh-oh.
Morning of Victory for who? For whom?
Whomst.
Never sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's Trixie.
Okay.
Becomes clear later.
Okay.
You mean like the Forsaken who gives her a massage?
I mean, you could have a chapter title and then a separate chapter symbol.
You could.
To denote two different things. Like, Egwene does do some good stuff here.
She does. And I have actually a side note when we get there about where I thought the Forsaken was.
Oh.
Before the obvious Forsaken.
Oh, no, it's probably very wrong. Wait, which one
were
you saying?
Maybe not.
Okay,
let's get
come
there.
back to it. Because I remember it's been so long. You were saying somebody else is a dark friend or something. I can't remember. We'll get to it. Okay, it's fine. You were 100% on board that either maybe Nicola or Theodrin or somebody. I can't remember. You were on board with some. So clearly it hasn't stuck very well with you. So you're just pointing fingers at people. Okay, I see what you're doing.
That's how I roll. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man. Okay, so we start in Egwene's perspective. She is traveling with Brynn and Morel and Swan.
Yes.
Right? Anybody else?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. So we're going off to see whatever it is that Brynn really needs her to see. It's a big deal.
Something he doesn't even want to say it.
You best see it for yourself.
Yes.
So they head on out of camp, travel a bit away south, and then we get a whole recap on just how hot it is.
It is.
And Egwene thinks that the world will live if she fails in her tasks, but if Nynaeve and Elaine fail, then the world dies.
Yeah, so it's just really driving home that the Cloud Bowl is actually important. It's not just like a side quest. It's like a main...
Well, no.
We gotta get... It's important.
it's not clarification on that. It's clarification that Egwene certainly thinks that that's what this is.
The Cloud Bowl is important. It's really hot. We've heard that it's really hot outside so much.
And she's like, oh my god, the trees are gonna die soon if nothing happens. I was like, soon? They're not dead already?
Things are dying. It takes a while for things to officially die.
Not really. Have you seen how fast I can kill a houseplant?
I mean, like, immediately,
it
but
is
that's
so
different.
fast.
That's different.
You don't water it for 3 days.
These are like hardy trees from the south. Not just like, wimpy little plants you buy at IKEA. So they're different, okay?
Fine. God.
Yeah. Anyways, what's even more funny, right? Swan on a horse.
Yeah,
Hello.
hilarious.
It's great. It's a great joke. Yeah.
And Morel is just in a terrible mood, but watching Swan struggle seems to make her happier.
Yeah, so there we
that's
go.
Funny.
Okay.
Now, a column of riders appears ahead of them, and it's some of the band of the Red Hand. And Bryn comments that the band puts out their own patrols, and that Lord Talmanis seems concerned about Egwene the last time he spoke with him.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a big deal, right?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, it's a big deal to them. I didn't think this was a big deal.
No, I agree. So it's a big deal for Morel. So number one, her reaction is she absolutely flips on Bryn.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you've spoken with him?
Oh my goodness.
And then threatens Bryn with treason.
Yeah, she's like, that's treason.
Yeah, because apparently being part of the band of the Red Hand is essentially being a dragon sworn.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest issues is the Aes Sedai, at least some of them, and probably Morel here, doesn't differentiate between the Dragonsworn who are raiding and pillaging the countryside and the band. And it's important to note that Altara is really getting taken apart right now by the Dragonsworn, and villages are getting torched, and one of the themes of this chapter is they're riding by like dead bodies and burned farms, and Rand is getting blamed for all of it.
Okay.
So, emphasize on that. It's not good.
Got it. Yeah, okay.
Anyways, that's why it's treason.
Which is interesting considering the Aes Sedai's position on like whether or not to support Rand, and then they're like, oh my god, it's treason to associate with Dragonsworn. Yeah. And it's like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, if anyone's good at hypocrisy, it'd be the Aes Sedai.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So, I mean, that works too.
Call it a spade.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bryn defends himself a little bit, and he calmly explains that when 10,000 men are following his army, he wants to know their intentions.
Yeah, and that's also big.
Yeah, and Egwene is happy that the topic of Talmanis being concerned for her didn't really seem to get noticed, because that's kind of like a weird thing.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be associated, because they're part of her secret plan.
Yeah, secret plan.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And so she asks, are you sure there's 10,000? Because the band that Matt had about half that.
Yeah, so that's a big thing, and Bryn kind of explains this, as they're traveling, he's picking up recruits.
I'm picking up people, so is he.
Yeah, because he's got the reputation from the fighting in Kyrian, so Matt and the band are actually like a thing, and the news is spreading. That people know about, yeah. News is spreading, yeah. And the tale goes that the band never loses, whatever the odds, but there are some people who think the band's luck is tied to Matt, so Bryn is picking up some defectors from the band who are like, oh, Matt's gone, so the luck is gone.
Got it. Okay. And so Morel seems to think that Talmanis and the band are following them because he fears we might turn against the Lord Dragon.
Yeah, which also doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? They're just going to attack you? Aes Sedai?
And the Bryn's army is way bigger right now. It's 3 times the size.
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And then she doubles down that, this is definitely treason.
Treason!
And so Egwene picks up on the fact that Bryn is suspicious about the real deal between Egwene, Matt, and the band.
Yeah, he was subtly side-eyeing her because he knows he's not stupid. He's a smart guy. So.
Yeah. And so she wonders why Bryn did what he did with the swearing his oath to serve them.
Yeah. Yep.
Because she wasn't there for that. And she thinks about how everyone, including the sisters, do still like having Bryn on their side, regardless about how the Aes Sedai feel about soldiers.
Yeah, that's the hypocriticalness of the Aes Sedai. It's they like having Bryn, but they actually don't like soldiers or the army. But they want the army, but it's they're not involving them in any of their plans.
No.
So, It's not good. Or like their general.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think this is right around where Egwene starts speculating about Brynn and Swan's relationship.
Yeah.
And she's like, Swan either just hates him or loves him. And the thought of Swan loving anyone is ridiculous.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Never, ever.
No.
So that was funny.
Big question
Funny
mark.
side note.
Who knows?
And Egwene also wonders about Matt's reputation as a soldier. Because she's like, Matt, the idiot? A soldier?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's just like, it's so misjudged.
She assumed he only led this army because of Rand, which is interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fair, like your friends and Taviran-ness and stuff like that, but he
the
does
Band of the Red Hand is not Rand's army.
No, but they also, don't necessarily understand that dynamic.
No, clearly not.
So, yeah.
Plus, in the background of all of these thoughts that Egwene is having, Morel is still just, like, berating Brynn.
Yeah.
And he's just
taking it. He's taking it. He knows.
He knows.
He dealt with Morgaze. Like, come on.
I know. Yeah. And so eventually Egwene tells Morel to shut it because nobody is doing anything to Brynn. And then she thinks to herself that she has a headache and might want some healing.
Yeah, so I don't know if you picked up on it.
I did.
But this headache, but it has been softly hinted for the past many chapters about these headaches like popping up.
Okay.
I've mentioned it a few times. I've tried to she's got a headache. I thought they were
connected with her old Lanfear injury.
Sure.
Because like whenever she goes into Tel'aran'rhiod, she was having headaches. That was part of her healing before, and she wasn't letting it heal properly.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was going to have something to do with that.
Totally fair. RJ was just like sprinkling it in though.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to have like more repercussions. Like I did pick up on it and I figured that it was a thing, but I thought it was because she was still going into Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't like, there's a Forsaken who's like
causing
these.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we'll get there though.
Poof, how could you have missed it? Oh my goodness. Right?
Okay. So Egwene tells Brynn nicely that, maybe it's best that he doesn't meet with Talmanis again, and he's like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
So then Egwene says, are we there yet? And no, they're not. But we do get a lot of description of countrysides and farms all around.
Yeah. And there's like dynamics here. So like some of the army dynamics is that Brynn is buying animals because you have to buy a lot of animals to feed a really big army. But there's bad dynamics because like farmhouses might not want to sell stuff because they don't have a lot of food, but they have to because it's like an army and they can't necessarily tell the difference between an army and then like Dragonsworn and bandits.
Right.
So it's just all, it's not good.
The whole thing that I completely skipped over and didn't care about.
That's basically what happens.
All right, and so finally, 3 to 4 miles out from the camp, they arrive at their destination. We see a merchant train of about 50 wagons coming from Caemlyn.
Yes.
They've traveled during the night to avoid bandits, and this is where I was like, oh my god.
What?
Be wary of merchant trains.
Oh.
Be wary of merchant trains. Be wary of peddler trains.
Right.
Especially when the chapter symbol is a Forsaken chapter symbol.
Yeah, don't trust them.
Don't trust the merchant trains, especially ones that arrive by night. Okay,
they were traveling by night to avoid bandits, and it worked clearly, number one. And then everybody who was in that evil merchant train that we saw in the Aiel Waste, if anyone forgets that, right? That was
Lanfear. They also just appeared.
Lanfear, Asmodean,
in
and
disguise.
then Kadir. And all three of those people are gone.
Now, this is a different one.
Okay.
The plan sort of worked then. Now it's like gonna work again.
Double down on the Forsaken train. Okay.
Yeah. Forsaken train.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite rhyme.
No.
But I was like, oh my god, what's happening here? Because I thought this was actually a bigger deal than it is.
No, it's not. It doesn't seem like a big deal.
It's literally zero deal. So
for Brynn to like bring her out here and be like,
you're like literally
it's about the okay.
Because I was like, that's it?
What are we doing here?
I didn't understand. Okay, so some of Brynn's soldiers are down at this merchant train, which may or may not be evil.
Okay, but they're buying the goods whether or not they are evil goods.
Well, I mean, like, the peddler train in the waste also had goods.
You know what? Maybe they are evil and they're just ripping off Brynn's army.
Oh my gosh. Evil.
The worst. Do you think it's a black market?
Yep.
Right?
Good one. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Mm-hmm. That was not good, but
no, okay. It wasn't.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sick. It doesn't matter.
Okay, fine. So anyway, we get a little bit farther up the road, and then there's a tree full of hanged men. And Egwene's like, did you want me to see the merchants or the bandits? So are the bandits the one who were hung? Like, I'm not quite getting what the significance of these people are.
Yeah, so there's a big tree, and it's full of a bunch of dead people, but it's probably bandits, because the Dragonsworn, who are raiding across Altara and hanging people, also hang, like, children and women, and it seems like there's just a bunch of dead men who are bandits.
Okay. And then Egwene is like, does this have something to do with Rand or the Ashaman? Because, you know, this merchant train came from Camelin.
Yeah, so she's confused. Everyone's a little confused. But in the background, also, Brynn is, like, side-eyeing Morel the entire time. Mm-hmm. And she's getting progressively worse about the situation.
Right. And then Egwene pulls a move where she's like, Morel can hear anything that I do. She has my complete trust.
Yeah.
And this seems to shock Morel.
A little bit. Especially because, like, what comes later on, so...
Right, and then Brynn finally says that there is a rumor that he doesn't believe, of course, that Rand went to the White Tower and has sworn fealty to Elaida.
Yeah, and it's come with the merchant train.
Okay.
And he's saying, like, regardless, like, whatever happens, because, I mean... We'll get it in a second, but Egwene's like, not true.
Not true at all, because Swan and Morel are like, oh, shit.
Like, is that real?
Oh, my
goodness.
God.
Yeah.
And then Egwene bursts out laughing and is like, that's not true. I know it for a fact as of last night.
Yeah.
And Brynn's like, okay, that's good news, but...
Yeah, there's
still rumors.
The rumor is still going to spread. Even if it's not true, it's going to go through, like, the soldiers and the army like wildfire... that their entire cause might be, like, you know, not good anymore.
Not good.
Like, they're on the losing side.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so Egwene does some quick thinking.
Yeah, okay.
She's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get some very good, trustworthy Aes Sedai sisters to make an announcement and tell everybody that these are rumors and it's not true.
It's not true, yeah. And then that's why Brynn's like, okay, but they got to talk plainly. They can't be... you know, wishy-washy about the words because then the soldiers aren't going to believe it.
Right.
And it's funny because the 6 that she chooses are the...
wishy-washiest of them all?
No, the original, like the Saladar
the
6 who were in charge of Saladar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll like that. They'll like being given a task, maybe?
Do you think that they would like being given a task from Egwene, from Brynn?
No. This will be an important, though. They'll feel important.
Yeah, I think you're misreading that pretty severely.
Oh, really?
They don't want any tasks from anyone. They don't... Aes Sedai don't like being given tasks, especially not these who are, like, secretly in charge of Saladar.
Okay, maybe you're
before the Hall of the Tower was,
so
like,
this
selected.
is actually going to go terribly?
It's going to go terribly, but that's Egwene's entire thing, is she's trying to rope these 6 in.
Yeah.
These are the ones who, like, sent the ferrets to the White Tower.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I think that they'll be eager to dispel this rumor.
Maybe to dispel the rumor, not happy about being given the task to do that.
I think... Okay.
You're not going to convince me that they're going to be happy.
No,
like, come on.
All right, that's fine. But Brynn is happy with this.
Yeah.
And he tells Egwene that he'll come to her this afternoon so they can talk. They'll confer all the time. They should begin making firm plans on how to put her on the Amyrlin seat when they reach Tarvalin. And Egwene thinks, very cool, this army is mine now.
Yeah, so she's kind of like picking up what he's putting down. So the subtleness that we're kind of getting here between Brynn and Egwene is that nobody talks to Brynn. Like, none of the Aes Sedai share information. They don't want his opinion on things. But Egwene, like, wants his knowledge.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, Brynn is communicating with her.
No, I think that everything that happened here for Egwene is positive.
Yeah.
Like, she is getting people on her side. Not the Aes Sedai side, not the Tower, not the Hall, not anybody. But her side.
Yeah.
Egwene's side. And I think that that's beneficial for her.
And I mean, I think Brynn is picking up on that too, that she doesn't have control of, like, the sisters, but he also has a personal connection with Swan, and Swan is trying to, like, pump up Egwene, so there's definitely right. Swan's putting in behind-the-scenes work here too.
Right.
So, round of applause for all 3 of them. I like him. I like him.
I liked this too. And then Egwene dismisses Brynn and says they're going to go on riding for a little bit. And I went, okay, what?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Like, what am I missing here?
You're not missing. So he wanted to bring her. So there's 2 things that might be happening here, and I'll just kind of like outline them. So one, Brynn is legitimately actually concerned, wanted her to come see the merchant train. That's like a real deal. Rumors are going to spread. I don't want our army we've been working to collapse.
Those are things that could have been shared.
Could have been,
and
but
they didn't have to ride out 4 miles to look at a merchant train.
Vannon did the same thing with Matt. It's like dramatic effect.
No.
Happening.
Vannon took Matt to see a
I
freaking
know.
slaughter scene.
Sure.
Of Tinkers.
Second thing that might be happening.
I thought this was going to be a big thing.
Second thing, let me get there. So we know that Brenna's like side-eyeing Morel. We know that Morel is up to some sneaky business.
Yes, she is.
We know that Swan also has figured out most of the pieces of that weird puzzle, and it's all part of the plan to get like Morel and Egwene and Swan, get everybody out here close to where the land thing is happening.
Yeah, but the whole Morel thing and Bryn thing happening kind of at the same time seemed serendipitous.
I mean, hey, that's the kind of series we're reading. Okay. I'm just saying, like, it could be something about, like, let's get him out there. It could be like a Swan plan. Like, we don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just, like, throwing out some ideas here.
Like, more was going to happen with this?
Yeah, nothing else is. That's it.
That's it.
So, like, take it if you want to, leave it if you want to.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
But let's go for a little ride. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Egwene tells Swan, lead the way, and they ride in silence for a while. Morel is, like, super uncomfortable, probably waiting for Egwene to, like, dig into her. And as the direction Swan is leading them in becomes clear, Morel gets more and more uncomfortable.
Yeah, so, like, Swan, at this point, we know now that she knows something.
Yes.
She doesn't know everything, but she knows something.
Enough to make Morel think that they know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then at some point, Morel was like, hey, look over there. A pretty waterfall.
Yeah, because basically they're going to be turning, for example, left, and then Morel says, hey, let's go right because there's a waterfall.
It's really
the
cool.
exact opposite.
So cool to look at. Let's go see.
Yeah, and I mean, Egwene has no idea what's going on, too.
She's curious, but she's like, oh, I'm going to pretend like I know what's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good way to do it, is like stay silent, and she thinks that, too.
Yeah, and then she says, I think that Swan's Way will have a more interesting sight, don't you?
Super cryptic, and it works.
And Morel mutters, you know everything, don't you?
But she doesn't know everything.
Doesn't.
But you can pretend you do.
Fake it till you make it.
As long as you shut your mouth.
That's right.
There you go.
So Morel puts things together that Swan has been working with Egwene since the beginning.
Yeah, there we go.
And she still doesn't even really understand how she was figured out because she thinks we were so sneaky.
Yeah, but it's not sneaky enough, apparently.
No. And then Swan says something about being stupid enough to buy coin peppers or something.
Yeah.
And Egwene really doesn't get it.
Yeah. And we get a description for that afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So they're growing in the borderlands, right? And they're super far south.
Okay.
So why are you buying something that's not from here? Why isn't it so important?
Right.
Right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Morel says to Egwene, you have to understand why I did it, why we did it. It's not just because Moraine asked, and not just because she was my friend. I hate letting them die. I hate it.
Yeah.
And Egwene still doesn't understand everything, but she's just going with it.
Yeah, and we know now. We know what it's all about now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we do. So Swan tells Morel to lead the rest of the way and that she should cooperate.
Yeah, because it'll reduce the punishment, maybe.
Maybe.
So.
Maybe.
I mean, okay.
So they make it to where they need to go. There are 3 tents set up, a cart, and some wagons. Nisao is here with her warder.
Yep.
And 2 of Morel's 3 warders are here and watch them as they arrive.
Yeah, Nisao is the one who was originally with Morel when Lan showed up.
The yellow who likes the ailments of the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Now, Egwene still isn't sure what's going on here. Then suddenly, 2 women peek around the corner of a tent, and it's the Bobbsey twins.
The what?
The Bobbsey twins.
What is that?
You know what? I'm actually glad you asked.
Okay.
Because, so this is Nicola and Arena.
Yeah.
But I wanted to call them the Bobbsey twins, and I didn't know why. I don't know why that came to my head. And so I actually Googled.
Okay.
And I looked up who are the Bobbsey twins.
Yeah,
like,
what is that?
Like, I don't know. It feels like something like my dad would say.
Sure,
or
okay.
something, right?
Old-timey.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
And
is it a thing?
Yeah, it is. So the Bobbsey twins are fictional characters. 2 sets of fraternal twins. The older pair named Bert and Nan. And the younger named Freddie and Flossie. And they're featured in an extended series of children's books published from 1904 to 1992.
Oh my goodness.
And so then I thought, like, what is meant? Like when someone say, oh, it's the Bobbsey twins.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So two people who are often together or seem to resemble each other in actions or appearances is two people you would refer to as the Bobbsey twins.
You know what? It works.
It works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we going with that then? Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never going to use it, but...
No, because the little example was we call them the Bobbsey twins because they always have the same opinions.
Okay. I like it.
There we go.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Bobbsey twins.
That's so funny.
Anyway, so Gwen is super uneasy for what they're walking into.
Because these dummies just tried to blackmail her.
They certainly did.
And now they show up here, and it's like, what's going on?
Here they are.
Turns out.
And so Swan dismounts and says, all right, Morale, bring him out now.
Yeah, so Swan put it together. She figured it out.
She certainly did.
Yeah.
So Egwene whispers to Swan, and she's like, what's happening?
What the heck is going on here?
What's going on? And then that's when Swan is like,
what are coin peppers? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, they're very popular in Shinar and Melchior.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And explains that she didn't know everything, but she suspected.
Yeah. And Egwene's like, okay, I'm still not sure. I don't know. Yeah.
And then she says, shh, here they come. See for yourself. And then out of the tent steps Lan.
Yeah.
And this is where things click into place for Egwene.
Except they don't.
Sort
Yeah,
of.
because she's like, oh.
Wait, what?
I still don't get it. Why is Lan
here? So she knows Lan, obviously.
Yeah.
She thought he went missing after Kyrian.
But it's like, connected. Why is he here?
Yeah.
She still doesn't get it.
Morale says something to Lan, touches his arm, and he sort of flinches, and then nods, and then goes off to do some sword forms.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
And then does Egwene get it yet?
No. She doesn't at all ever. Even when it's fully explained, I don't think she still gets it. But the whole thing, we gotta back up and talk about Lan here, because when Morale touches him and he flinches like a scared horse, like, that's crazy, because the Lan that we know doesn't flinch ever.
Yeah.
For anything.
Well, he's being made to do things he doesn't really want to do.
He is like literally
that.
traumatized, and we get a lot more about what's happening and Merle's, ways to keep him alive.
It's not great.
It's not good at all. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But also that kind of begs the question, like, is it good because he's not dead?
Right.
So it's like, whoa, step into some serious,
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, I don't know about that.
Is that way above our pay grade? Okay.
It absolutely is above our pay
I am
grade.
not answering that. I'm not answering it.
Yeah, so
okay.
Morel and Nassau, who also could be the Bobbsey twins.
Sure, I guess, right? There's two sets. Oh, man, okay.
Also, Theodrin and Fealty.
Yeah.
They also need a nickname.
Oh, no, okay.
Shoot.
You can't use that again.
I mean, like, I could do whatever I want.
That's true.
It's my
They're
podcast.
all 1, 2, and 3.
All right,
no one's going to know what you're talking about ever.
Never.
Especially
ever.
me.
Especially you. And that's
Okay.
the one that matters. So, Morel and Nassau say something to each other, and then Nassau groans about being dragged into this and how she shouldn't have listened.
Yeah, well, she knows that she's caught now.
They're caught.
Yeah.
And so Morel asks Egwene to come into the tent, and she's like, no.
I'm not coming into your
and
stupid
Nassau's
tent.
like, how about some delicious punch?
This is good. Because she's like, Swan, go tell Nicola to bring the punch. Like, what kind of order of operations is this? Yeah.
So then Nassau calls Nicola herself, and Egwene's like, I don't want punch. I want an explanation. And Morel's like, oh my god, fine. So, Moraine didn't just choose me because we were friends. 2 of my warders belonged first to sisters who died.
Yeah, so
this isn't the first time that this has happened.
She's successful. And by the way, just for the record, currently Lan is doing one sword form, and that is staying perfectly still, not moving.
Not moving.
He's not moving.
Okay.
He's doing one sword form.
It's the...
Sort of. The one that
the
where you
statue.
stand still. The statue. Yeah.
Okay.
The pelican stands perfectly still. I don't know.
Pelican? No. Oh, never would a sword form have a pelican. Oh my god,
Okay,
Brett,
okay.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently no other sister has saved more than one warder in centuries, and now she's saved 3?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if we're going to give Lan as a win
save.
in her category.
Transferred bonds against their will
He's
when
not
their
dead
Aes
yet, so I mean, hey.
dies.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Nisao defends herself, and she's like, I only became involved in this because of his mind. I have some interest in studying this. Like, this is a disease of the mind. I'm interested. This is what I said I do. We study our things.
She's like super over-talking her point, trying to play defense for herself.
Yeah, and then they have to start to explain the warder bond to Egwene.
Yeah, well, they do. They don't have to, but...
Well, she cuts him off, and she's like, I know enough. And I'm like, no, you don't.
But also, she's got to pretend like she knows everything.
Yes, she does.
So.
Absolutely, she does. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay.
So at this point, I think Egwene understands what's happening.
Yeah, now she's like figuring it out. It's like, okay, Moraine land, yada yada. Okay. But for the record, the magical bond of the Warder and the Aes Sedai, we get to hear that Swan cries alone lots of nights still.
Oh, right.
Because of Ulrich being murdered the day she was deposed.
Yeah.
So, for the record, that's a thing that Swan goes through.
Okay.
There's not much mention of Ulrich and him dying, so I just thought I'd bring that up.
Now, Egwene steps to the side to get a clear look at Lan, because he's still standing in his statue pose.
It's called the pelican pose, yeah.
And then suddenly, he's doing sword forms faster and faster and faster, and everyone is just sort of watching him, and he looks like a lion that might charge at any moment.
Yeah, he's in a bad headspace. This is not good.
And so Egwene comments on them, working him really hard.
Yeah.
And then we get some of the common methods for saving a warder's life.
Yeah, so we've got work him hard in training.
Basically give him a cause to live for,
Well,
right?
that's the last one, and that's not the one that is right now being used.
Okay, got it.
So the ones that Morel is, using is work him really hard, keep him away from risks to himself, bond him again immediately, and the last one we get a little bit later, have sex with him.
Have sex.
Yeah.
Sure, do it.
Yep.
Sleep with him.
Yep.
And then Egwene's like, poor Nynaeve.
Yeah.
And then she's like, maybe Nynaeve would understand because it's helping to keep Lan alive. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe Nynaeve would understand.
Maybe Nynaeve will be like, okay, as long as he's not dead.
Maybe that's what's keeping him alive, because I doubt it.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Maybe Nynaeve will not necessarily, like what Morel has done, but she won't be, hating on her because...
Oh, yes, she will.
Maybe. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you don't know Nynaeve like I know Nynaeve.
Okay.
If you think any of this will be okay ever,
I'm just
with
saying,
rational, logical
potentially,
thought,
she might be thankful that he's not dead yet.
Never that she would admit out loud.
Okay. That's fair, and that's a different point.
Uh-huh.
So are we talking about, inner Nynaeve?
We're talking about all of Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 50 years from now, Nynaeve's going to be like, I get it now.
Oh, maybe.
So
it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So Morel says that passing a bond isn't that bad, actually. It's the same as some woman deciding who her husband should have if she dies.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So he's in the right hands.
It's that's not better.
That's bad too.
I don't know if it's worse, but it's the same.
Yeah. And then Swan's like, we all aren't from Abu Dar,
yeah,
Morel.
Shut it, Morel.
A warder isn't a husband for most of us.
Boom. Okay. Also, hold on, because one of these lines, I really got to call out Egwene for her thoughts.
Oh, what?
Okay? Because she thinks about this whole bonding situation is that he deserved the worst of what he receives, letting himself be bonded by another woman when he knew that Nynaeve was pining for him.
Oh.
And it's like, okay,
you think
Egwene.
Lan let himself be bonded in this situation?
That is not how this went down at all.
Yeah.
Lan was furious with Moraine.
Yeah. He didn't want this.
No, and he didn't know about it until she told him, later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yikes.
Shoot.
So, anyways, it's all bad.
Yep. Yes. Yes, it is.
Let's get into it more, though.
Okay. Nisao says there's no law against this technically.
Yep.
And Swan says that's not the point, even if it hasn't been done in 400 years.
And she gets what actually went down because he wasn't asked, and she calls them out for it.
Yeah. He was given no choice. You might as well have bonded him against his will. In fact, you did.
Yes. So I think this is where, in the book...
Finally, Egwene puts things together.
Yeah, she gets it now.
Mm-hmm.
And then her thoughts get worse, maybe.
Yeah, because she thinks about how Lan resisted admitting his love for Nynaeve with his nonsense about leaving her a widow, and then wonders if Nynaeve would have let him walk away unbonded if she had the chance.
Yeah.
And then
so here's a question. Here's a question about that.
What?
We can't just skip over that.
Oh, what?
So because she's thinking, I feel like I should be as disgusted by this action as Swan is. Swan is not happy with what Moiraine and Morel have both done
not
equally
at all.
there.
Yeah.
So they're both to blame. But do you think that Nynaeve would let Lan walk away unbonded even if he said no?
I don't know.
Well, I know you don't know.
Probably.
You think she'd let him walk away if he's like, I don't want to be bonded to you?
Yes.
You don't think she'd force bond him?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what Egwene is thinking.
I think that she would keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
And keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up. Sure, she'd probably nag him into it.
But she's not going to force bond.
No.
Like a Lana Rand style.
No.
Like, haha, I got you.
No, she wouldn't.
Okay.
No, because the amount of times that she wanted to be with him and he said no and walked away, she never chased him down and
forced herself on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
She always was a little bit more respectful than that of his
Yeah. So
even though she didn't agree with what he was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what Egwene is thinking is would she? And it kind of seems like she thinks Nynaeve wouldn't let him get away. And then she thinks about her situation with Gawain. Technically he already said, I'll be your warder. But what if he changes his mind?
Yeah.
And she's thinking maybe I'd do it anyways. It's
Egwene.
This whole dream sequence with Nynaeve really makes a lot more sense about her actions.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah. She likes to force situations on people.
Kind of.
A little bit.
Not good.
No.
Not a good look, Egwene.
Okay.
Not a good look. But what she does next, I'm actually not angry about.
Okay.
So Morel keeps trying to plead her point. At one point she says that her plan is to pass him to Nynaeve as soon as she gets the chance.
Well, when they're ready.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, when Nynaeve is ready.
When Morel feels they're all ready, which could be,
okay, never mind.
There's a lot of room
I thought it was soon, but
there's a lot of wiggle room in the phrasing. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. And she says that she didn't do it for herself. It was to save him, all of that. And so Egwene cuts her off and is like, are you serious about passing him to Nynaeve? Because also, how long has he been here?
Yeah. You've kept this a huge secret.
Yeah, and Morel's like, it's been 2 weeks, and this might take months. And there's no guarantee it'll even work. Oh, this is where she goes on about that whole stuff.
Yeah.
And Egwene says, well, maybe it's time to try something different.
Here we go.
And Egwene walks up to Lan, and he is whirling away and spins at her with his sword and stops inches from her head.
Ooh, okay.
And Lan says, so you're the Amyrlin now. Morel told me that they raised one, but not who. It seems like you and I have a good deal in common.
Yeah, because they've both been put in situations they don't care for necessarily, or,
right.
Uh-huh. Well, not necessarily care for. They were both forced into situations.
Sure.
I mean, and Lan doesn't know Egwene's situation, so there's that too.
No, he doesn't. Not really,
yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So Egwene says, Nynaeve is an Aes Sedai now, and she's in need of a good warder. And he says, I hope she finds a hero of legend. She'll need a hero just to face her temper. And Egwene says, well, she's in Ebu Dar, and you know how dangerous it is there. She's searching for something we need, and if the Black Agile learns of it, they'll kill her to get it. And if the Forsaken find out, well, ...
Yeah.
I'm sending you to her to act as her warder.
Yeah, so this is a big move.
And Morel tries to be like, you can't do that.
You don't know what you're doing, and Nynaeve won't be able to handle him.
Yeah, I know. That's my favorite part.
Okay.
And it's like, you can't handle him.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
You don't even know. But I mean, this is the thing. Lan's, even his emotion, we're used to the stoic, doesn't show any emotions, doesn't really overspeak. And here, Lan is laughing and ha ha ha, she's gonna need a good warder. Yeah. And he is a little bit off his rocker a bit.
I mean, slightly, yeah.
A little unstable.
From what we've seen.
Yeah.
Yes. But immediately, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't even glance at Morel.
Yeah. He's like, okay.
I gotta go. It's gonna take me a long time to reach Ebu Dar.
Take me a month.
And then he shouts for his horse. Get saddled.
Yeah,
and then he apologizes to Egwene and he says, I'm sorry for ever helping you leave the Two Rivers. You and Nynaeve.
Yeah, it's okay, Lan. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, dramatic.
But, okay, you know what's really fun? Out of all the people who left the Two Rivers, Egwene and Nynaeve were the two that chose to leave.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, they're the ones, the three boys, they were kind of forced.
Yeah, Egwene, like, chose adventure, and Nynaeve left to go find them and bring them back.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Although, she wanted to go back. Out of everybody, Nynaeve wanted to go back the most.
I mean, okay. She says she wanted to go back.
She wanted to murder Moraine and then go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's not wanting to go back. That's wanting to murder Moraine first.
I feel like we don't talk about that enough.
Well,
that
you know.
Nynaeve legitimately had a murder plot.
Yes, but first she has to learn enough so that she can actually carry out the murder plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
You don't jump the gun.
A murder plot for somebody for stealing children from her village.
Which, I mean, of all things, it's a fair reason to try to murder someone.
Really, did she steal them?
Yep. You're never going to change Nynaeve's mind on that one.
No, never. No. All right. So now Morel is trying to explain why this is a terrible idea, and Egwene's like, shut it. Even if Nynaeve couldn't channel at all, that wouldn't make a difference, and the one thing Morel hasn't done is given him something to stay alive for.
Yeah.
And so she tells Morel that to Lan, Nynaeve is that important because he loves her and she loves him.
Yeah, so
and
Morel
Morel's
actually
like,
gets it.
Yeah.
Because she has his water bond, so she can feel his feelings. So that weird little something that was happening, she clearly picked up on something.
Right.
But Nassau doesn't buy it.
She's like, no way. She's like laughing. She says that woman might love him. You know, people have been chasing Lan forever, but any woman who thinks that she can leash Lan is wrong.
Yeah, I can't tie him down. Bachelor for life.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah. And then Egwene just changes the topic because she's over that.
Yeah.
to Nicola and Arena and tells Morel and Nassau that the extra lessons for Nicola stop now.
Yeah.
And they comment that Arena wants to be around Lan all the time. She thinks he'll teach her things. And Nicola wants to be another Moraine, and she has some idea that she could make Morel give Lan her bond.
Yes. So it's kind of funny because, number one, Arena has this weird little thing.
Okay, Arena doesn't channel, right?
No, she's the warrior person, the hunter.
Kind of wannabe. Okay.
So, I mean, of all people, she has found Birgitta, like legendary hero of the Horn, to train her a little bit.
Yeah.
And we don't know how far that training went. And then she's like on to Lan Mandragoran.
Yeah.
Like fabled king of Malkier, who's like the greatest of the great warders.
Yeah.
She's got some people in her resume to put as like, oh, they taught me, sort of.
Right.
But like, good for her. Good for her.
I guess.
I
don't
appreciate
like her still.
No, I don't either, but I appreciate her going for like the best of the best for like training abilities.
I guess so.
Like stumbled into it a little bit, but come on.
Yeah. Anyway, so it turns out they were blackmailing Morel and Nassau.
Yeah. They're into the blackmailing, yeah.
Man, and Egwene gives them yet another chance.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that, I guess.
Yeah. So Egwene tells Morel and Nassau that they have to face justice for their part in this, and they'll talk when she's back.
Yeah. Okay.
And now they're pretty impressed. Well, Morel is anyway. Pretty impressed with Egwene and like how much she knows, like the whole Nicola and the extra lessons thing.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's kind of funny.
Egwene is coming across pretty competent here.
And it's really it's a really fortunate situation that she just got blackmailed by them, because otherwise she'd have no idea what's going on. She's like, why are they here? But she just got blackmailed,
and so now
she put it together. It's like, oh, they're blackmailing more people.
And Morel's like, you really do know
everything.
You know everything.
And the other half of the land thing is like, because Swan figured it out.
Yeah.
If it was just Egwene, she'd have no idea.
Yeah.
But hey, I guess it works.
I guess, yeah. In this instance,
in this situation, it works.
Yep. Okay. So now Lan is ready to go, and Egwene's like, I'm going to have you in Ebudar in less than a month. And he's like, okay. And so Egwene weaves a gateway right there, and she makes a platform with railings.
Yeah, smart, safe.
So smart.
It's a boat. It's a barge.
It's a barge, a ferry barge.
Yeah.
No one has to walk across it, though.
Yeah.
I don't have to get how this one works. I just thought...
This one you just stand on and it takes you.
I just thought Rand was so concerned with someone falling off the edge.
Well, someone did fall off the edge.
I know. When he had like hundreds and hundreds of people on his little skimming platform, and he didn't think to create railings?
Yeah, not workplace safety compliant.
Oh my gosh, Rand.
He should have to pay out some sort of settlement for that.
Jeez.
Right?
Anyway, so she makes one with railings.
Smart.
Good. So they skim to Ebudar, and Lan follows through the gateway and like onto the barge.
Yeah, he's just like, he's going with it. It's
like,
Aes Sedai stuff, he gets it.
Yeah. And he goes, how quickly will this take me to Ebudar? And she says, well, I can put you 5 or 6 days north of the city, because she's thinking of where Elaine had opened her gateway to.
Yeah.
Because that's really all she knows.
It's about the right spot, yeah.
So there they go. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then Egwene tells Lan Nynaeve is staying at the palace as a guest of the queen, and she might deny she's in any danger. And it's like, yep, that sounds like Nynaeve.
Like, tell Lan all the things that everyone knows about Nynaeve.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, and then most importantly, maybe don't tell her about the whole Morel is sleeping with you thing.
No, but definitely tell Nynaeve that Morel will pass the bond to her as soon as they can be together.
Yeah. Which also is like, is that how it's going to work? I don't know. And that's not quite what she said.
No, I think that's probably why I thought that's what she said, because Egwene says it here.
This is what Egwene is telling Lan to tell Nynaeve, which is like not necessarily what Morel
Lan
said.
And Lan barely seems to be paying any attention.
Yeah.
She's like, are you listening to me, Lan?
Well, and here's the thing, too.
And he's like, yeah, sort of.
I mean, it seems like technically Lan doesn't need to be physically present for the bond to be passed, because Moraine passed it to Morel without Lan's knowledge.
It probably did have to do with some physical type of ceremony between Morel and Moraine, though.
Sure, maybe, yeah, that's possible. But just like not necessarily. Egwene just has not 100% right for what's going on.
No, she doesn't really. But
yeah.
Lan says, I'll tell her everything she needs to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's that, though?
Nothing.
Yeah, because it really doesn't sound like he's going to tell her everything.
You know what? Dish it out slowly, and that's probably smart, too, because Nynaeve's the kind of person you can't tell everything all at once, because that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Just like little pieces.
Ugh.
Okay.
Oh, and you thought that was bad, Nynaeve.
Yeah, just
How
wait.
How about this? Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, exactly. So Egwene notices a mark on his neck, which is funny. That's that whole thing. She's like, it might be a bite mark.
And she's not quite sure.
Yeah.
Very innocent.
I certainly hope Lan isn't going to be too descriptive about what he did with Morel.
Yeah, it's like, probably not. No.
Probably not. And so they skim in silence, probably for about half an hour, and then they arrive. But before Lan leaves, Egwene starts to tell him again about the message to Nynaeve, but he cuts her off, and he's like, 5 or 6 days? I can make it faster. She'll be safe. I promise. And then he sort of looks at her and says, you've come a very long way since Emond's Field.
Yeah.
And he says, you have a hold on Morel and Nassau now. Don't let them argue with you again. And he digs his heels off, and off he goes to Ebudar on Mandarb.
Yeah. And he says the watch is not done.
Oh, right.
Right? Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, because now he has a task.
Now he's got a task. Can't die yet.
Can't die yet.
Yep.
Gotta protect Nynaeve.
Here we go.
So Egwene skims back to camp. Long, boring ride.
Yeah, I was going to say something too, just for the record. Because Lan was kind of like looking like he was zoning out during the conversation with Egwene. And she's like, are you even listening, Lan? Are you all there?
Yep.
He totally is. But he also picks up on the Egwene dynamics with the Aes Sedai, which is why he gives her the advice he gives her, but she seems to not even remember, like, he was the warder to Moraine, the schemiest of all Aes Sedai, for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, Lan knows how schemes work with Aes Sedai.
Yeah, he does.
He knows what's up, and he's a huge asset if you could use him.
Yep.
So.
Fair.
But, like, she doesn't really
recognize that.
She doesn't get it. Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe in the future, we'll see.
Egwene doesn't have enough practice with scheming.
Yeah.
Like, she's had very little time to really think about how she can, like, manipulate other people around her. Because she just thinks that she's right about everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's
she's
always
just
sort
learning.
Of,
she's
never
learning how
really
to do it.
been in a position to actually effectively manipulate anyone, I think.
And, like,
maybe
have weight behind your words. Like,
yes.
Scheming only goes so far if you have no actual power or authority.
That's true. Yeah.
You gotta scheme to get some of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Lan gets it.
Okay. So when she gets back, they're currently like packing everything up. Morel is in the middle of telling Swan, "Don't speak to me like that."
Yeah.
And then Nassau is doing the same. They're like laying into Swan because apparently she's like overstepping her authority right now.
Yeah, Swan's at the bottom and she's not supposed to be talking to anybody without permission.
It literally.
And apparently she's talking about possible penalties for these two sisters.
Yeah, Swan.
It's like, come on.
Not your role. And so Egwene takes control of the situation, gets Swan to attend to Nicola and Irina to send them back to the camp.
Well, and to make sure that they understand that they've got one more chance.
Exactly. One more chance.
And you don't get another one.
Which is annoying because Egwene thinks Nicola is just too powerful to let go. And it's fine. Yeah, she can still be a novice, but like there's gotta be some repercussions here.
Some sort of consequence. But then if that's kind of the issue she brings up, like if we're going to publicly make this a thing, then that's going to bring everything out in the open as to why they're being punished.
No, we don't publicly make it a thing. We privately make it a thing.
People can figure stuff out. Got to be careful. Got to be careful.
Yeah, you can be careful and punish someone too.
Carefully punish them.
Carefully punish them.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, so Swan goes off to do that. She likes yelling at novices, so that's fine.
And it seems to work. Seems to put them in their place, at least, for now.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that Swan can be a very scary person. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like, she's still the former... Like, she knows how to do things.
Yeah. Okay. So, Egwene turns to Morel and Nassau and says, "Without my protection, you will likely lose your warders, and then some. You're gonna have a bunch of problems with the hall and with your own Ajas, and it might be years before you can hold your heads up again. But why should I protect you? It puts me in a bad spot, and you might do the same again or worse. And if I'm going to take on that responsibility, then you must have an obligation too. I must be able to trust you completely, and I can only see one way to do that."
Yeah. You gotta swear fealty to Egwene. So here's the thing. Remember, like, 2 chapters ago? And literally last night for Egwene, she was laughing to the wise ones about the idea of Aes Sedai swearing fealty to anybody.
To Rand.
To anybody.
Yeah.
She literally said, like, the sisters don't even swear fealty to the Amyrlin.
That's
true.
That's
crazy. Mm-hmm. And now she's got 4.
She's like, actually, this is a great idea.
And let's keep stacking them on.
Yeah,
I actually want everyone to swear fealty to me.
I thought at this point, Egwene would start to explain a little bit more because they push back.
Yeah.
They're so shocked by this. Even Swan is like, no.
This doesn't happen.
They're like, impossible, never, no way. And I thought Egwene would start explaining a little bit more of the situation she's in to get everyone a little bit more on board. Because I didn't know if anyone would actually do this.
Yeah, no, she's powering through.
Yeah, because I think this is really smart for where she's positioned right now.
Okay.
If she, I mean, I get why she doesn't want to show all her cards.
Okay.
But if she were to say things like, it's clear there's a divide in the hall right now. I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. I don't know who I can trust and who's with, whom and whatever.
Yeah.
So by you doing this, I know you're in my corner and you're not with Ramonda or Lorraine or whatever.
Here's the thing.
But I get that she doesn't want to just share that all out, but I thought maybe she would have in this situation.
How do you feel about the concept of Egwene making people swear fealty to her?
I like it.
Okay, so here's the problem. The Aes Sedai have this little thing, the 3Os, that makes them unable to say a lie, so they are literally magically bonded to their word of a fealty of an oath, which is a huge reason why no sister has to swear fealty to any, Amyrlin.
And I bet that
they're
Egwene
magically
doesn't
bound.
quite understand that, because with T and F over there, Theodrin and...
They're not magically bound. They technically can break the oath, and you might be thinking, oh, well, I don't want them to break the oath of fealty, but that is a way to prevent, like, Elida, for example. If Elida starts making all the sisters swear fealty to her personally, that's super dangerous because then she literally owns every Aes Sedai and can make them do anything because they have to swear fealty. Like, the whole concept is really bad when you bring this whole magical bond into it.
Yeah, I didn't think of that part, and I bet Egwene didn't either.
No, huge repercussions though, right? Like, this is super dangerous.
There's a reason that, like, nobility
and,
like, kings and queens make people swear fealty
but it's not like a magical, I have to literally very literally do anything that you tell me to do. Like, that's bad. Having that kind of, like,
power,
absolute power and control. It's absolute.
Yeah.
It's magical. Yeah. It's not just like
I don't think that Egwene fully understands that piece.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't taken the oath. She doesn't know what it feels like to not be able to lie, right?
Because it seems like she's really on this whole, like, okay, I'm going to go get everybody. I got to get those original 6 on my side now, too. But it's like, where does that stop?
Yeah, that's definitely fair. But I'm still kind of on board with this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just want to, like, highlight the possible issues. Because Nassau and Morale kind of, like, tell Egwene that she's a dangerous woman and she may break the tower more than it already is. But they do swear fealty. But, like, they have a legitimate point, too. This might be a big sticking point. Like, we cannot have sisters kneel and swear fealty magically to the Amyrlin.
Right. Yeah.
Which kind of makes the whole, like, swearing fealty to Rand thing problematic, too. Like, it is an issue.
Oh,
even though we want people to be aligned with Rand, we want people on his side and do what he's...
And aligned with Egwene and whatever.
Yeah, but it's like anybody else who has that, like, in the future, right?
I guess so.
How does that move forward?
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting points.
Okay.
So now, after this, Egwene gives them their first orders, which is to tell no one that Siuan is anything more than what everybody thinks, and to obey any order that Siuan gives, as if it came from Egwene herself.
Yeah.
So this is that whole thing that Egwene wants to do. She wants to shift where power comes from. It shouldn't just come from someone because they happen to be stronger than you in the power.
Sure.
Or whatever, right? And I think that that's something that she's kind of working on.
I mean, a little bit, but it also changes because of the whole, like, sworn fealty thing now. So.
Oh, well, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't care enough.
Because, I mean, the order's coming from Egwene, the Amyrlin, so.
Yeah, and Moreau's a huge bitch to Nynaeve.
I know, and, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending everything they've done. I'm just saying, the implications are dangerous.
All right, so now it's time that they head back to the camp, and Siuan tells Egwene as they ride that the other sisters are right about the fealty thing, that this has never been done before, and we probably shouldn't make this a big habit.
Well, not only that it's not been done, it's not even hinted at in the secret histories when, like, crazy things happen.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it does not happen for a reason.
Well, and then Egwene tells Siuan about the whole Nicola and Arena Bobbsey twins blackmailing her as well.
Yeah. I like Siuan's suggestion.
Well, she's super casual.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, maybe they can just meet with some accidents. And Egwene is like, don't murder them.
That Siuan, that kills people.
Like, what the fuck? We just like, I could see maybe like...
No, I love it. Like, Siuan's totally on board with assassinations. Like, they've blackmailed the Amyrlin seat and a set of sisters.
Siuan is just so on board with this.
Well, you know that if she's so on board with it this time,
like,
that it might not be the first time.
No kidding. And that's definitely like an Aiel thing. Well, they're like,
Avienda would totally say, she's like, just kill him.
Go stab him.
Right? Like, that's
whatever.
A thing. Yeah.
Or
do you want me to do it? I'll do it.
Forsaken thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just meet with an accident if they're bugging you.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Well, don't equate the Forsaken to the Aiel. Come on.
Well,
that's different.
Those are like all the people I know who are like cool with murder.
Well, they're not. Well, don't be blackmailing people and you won't get murdered.
There we go.
That's the real problem.
That's the problem here, for sure.
Yeah.
But Egwene does not want to cross that line.
Would you, like, because you're typically on board with, like, the killing of people.
Yeah, I'm a tyrant. Mm-hmm.
So not on board with assassinating these two?
No.
Really?
I would prefer to torture them.
What?
Yeah, punish them. Make them pretty miserable.
Okay.
I prefer that.
Use a less word than like a lighter term here.
I want to torture them.
Yeah. Oh, man, okay.
Just a little bit, so they know not to fuck with me.
Just a little bit, okay.
Yeah, just like don't...
Just a little bit.
Just like, you can't just do whatever the hell you want.
There you go.
That's what the Aes Sedai do, right? It's like constant dishwashing.
Okay. Physical punishment isn't necessarily the same thing as torture.
I don't know.
Use such a harsh word there, and then you say, like, physical
lots
labor.
Of torture, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do the dishes.
torturous.
That's torture.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
Well, she like, I don't know. She's like, you don't get to learn your power lessons for like 3 weeks or something.
There you go.
That's like
now
torture
we're thinking.
for
Sure.
Nicola,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I didn't mean like actual like
I mean, I
torture.
I have to clarify because it's you and I'm never sure.
I know.
Okay.
But yeah, some people probably could get murdered.
Okay. Not these two for now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have to listen back to
Just
that.
like boot him out of salad. Just like, get out of here.
I think it was Nickel that I thought maybe was the dark one because they came on the boat, right? And I was like, ooh.
Maybe, yeah,
I actually
Okay,
don't know
okay.
now. So, because I'm skeptical of them.
I thought it
for
was
sure.
like Fealty that you might have said was like a dark
I gotta
friend.
listen back and I'll clarify for next episode.
Just because it was, they swore fealty and
I'll
maybe they're
listen
Black
back, and I'm sure that there are gonna be lots of people who hear this and say, "Danny, you moron, you said this."
But
And I'll be like, "You want me to remember things that I said?"
You say so many things.
I say so many things.
Okay.
We don't write them all down. We should write them all down.
Let's continue this though.
Okay. So then this is also where Egwene tells Swan that Fealty and Theodrin swore fealty to her too. But that doesn't make Swan feel any better about this whole situation.
Yeah, it's still bad.
Yeah. But then they talk about their new secret plan when they get back to the camp. And their next task is to tell Sheriam and the rest of Morel's friends that they are to have a meeting with the Amyrlin.
Yeah, okay. That's the next plan, but not for now.
Right. And now when Egwene gets to her tent, there's 2 letters that are sealed and waiting for her. One is from Ramonda, saying that Egwene needs to issue an order that is sealed to the hall.
So that means known only to the sitters.
Okay.
Okay. So pretty secret, only the sitters.
That all sisters are to be summoned one by one, and any who refuses is to be shielded and confined as a suspected member of the Black Aja.
Yeah, okay. So do you remember the conversation that Ramonda and Lelaine had?
Sort of.
Okay, so they were talking about, like, we need to figure out a way to get all the Black Aja.
Delana from denouncing Elida as a Black Aja.
That was part of it.
Okay.
But then Ramonda was saying that they need to come up with
root out all the Black
Aja, and there's a way that we can do that if you would just leave, like, your,
morals.
No, not morals, your dignity at the door for a second. And why shouldn't we leave our dignity behind for a half a minute if that means we can root out all the Black Aja? And then Lelaine's like, I'm not doing that because that's dangerously close to an accusation.
Right.
And then she's like, Ramonda says to her, like, I'll be the first person to do my own method if you're the second person to do my method.
Right.
So Ramonda here is saying, let's seal it to only the sitters. We get every sister in the door, and then we do something because it's a little bit vague. But anyone who refuses to come gets shielded, and it's like, ooh, we caught you. You're Black Aja.
Okay.
Right? Suspected until proven.
Now, also, before we talk about the next letter, I'm pretty sure last time we didn't talk about something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Where Egwene has a thought in her head about how she thinks that Black Aja sisters have a way of lying.
Yeah, she does think that this chapter,
Oh, it's this chapter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She's like, they have to have come up with a way to get past the 3 oaths.
Yes. Yeah. Because otherwise, how can you be...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. I just think that, like, that speculation that, like, I've had...
Sure.
That I've never had anyone in the book think the same thing I'm thinking.
Okay.
So...
I feel like we may have come across
I don't think so. I think I've just, like,
fine.
made that up.
Okay.
Because I'm like, they probably can lie.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true. So the big question mark is, like, what is this method that Ramonda is actually getting at?
Because it's like close to being put to the question, right? Or
yeah, it was
like
close to being, but we don't know exactly what it is, but Ramonda's willing to do it too, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, and now Lelaine's suggestion is to...
seal to the ring so it's any sister can know, not just the sitters.
Sure,
all Aes Sedai, yeah.
That any mention of the Black Aja is to be forbidden as fomenting discord.
Yeah, you're causing a bunch of, like, havoc, so you can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Lelaine wants to ban all talk about the Black Aja.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good way to root out the Black Aja.
Yeah.
No one talks about the Black Aja anyway.
Yeah, Egwene thinks both plans are terrible. That's her point. So Lelaine's plan is going to make everybody think that there definitely is a Black Aja if you, like, outlaw talking about it.
Yes.
And then they're also going to think that she's totally a part of it. So it's going to get her, like, people thinking she's Black Aja.
Yeah.
And then Romanda's plan is just going to start mutiny against her because we don't want to do whatever Romanda's secret plan is.
Yeah.
And we don't exactly know what that is.
No.
So, okay.
No. And if Black Aja have a way of working around whatever the plan is, to the question or whatever, then it's not even going to work anyway.
So how do you get them to, do the thing? It's tough.
Can't.
Yeah. Can't, I guess.
You just be suspicious of everybody.
Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, for the record, there's been 6 mutinies in the secret histories, and each one resulted in the Amyrlin resigning and the entire hall, too.
Yeah.
So Egwene doesn't want to be the 7th.
No way. And as Egwene is thinking about her plans, she drops onto her folding stool and almost falls down.
Oh, my goodness.
Hilarious.
Yep.
But now her head is really killing her.
Yeah.
And then freaking Halima announces herself and comes swaying into the tent. And I thought, okay, we've done pretty well here.
Okay.
I liked the majority of what was happening here. I was feeling confident. I was feeling good. Like Egwene's taken back some power.
Sure.
Then this happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, freak, what's going on here?
And not only it happens, it's been happening for a while.
I know. I initially thought, like, maybe something weird was going to slip where Egwene was going to be like, oh, I heard you were around Merrigan's tent or something like that. And then, like, something would happen and come of this? Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
And it gets worse.
Nothing but bad.
It gets worse.
So Halima says, Delana thought you might want to see this. She's putting it before the hall this morning.
Yeah, keep in mind, it's morning still.
Yes. And Egwene's first thought is that the hall is sitting without even talking to her, even though she's been away. And Egwene says, I wish you'd gone home when Cabriana died. And Halima says, well, I couldn't do that after Cabriana told me what she'd learned about Elaida and her plans. Cabriana was my friend, and a friend to all opposing Elaida, so I had no choice. Luckily, she mentioned Saladar, so I knew where to come.
Yeah, and we know it's all a bunch of lies.
Hokey.
She didn't actually fall off her horse and die.
No.
That's not how it happened.
No, it's not.
Anyways.
Yeah, because Cabriana was the one Semirhage was torturing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And her warder.
Yeah. Now, is Halima / whoever this is
Erengar
doing some compulsion here?
Yeah, that's the question.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. We know that the headaches thing is, and maybe the healing of the headaches,
yes,
is for sure.
Because it's like, oh, they're meeting without you, but also talk about me,
right?
And not that.
Something is going on, probably, because we know that
this isn't great.
Halima is channeling on Egwene,
clearly,
and she doesn't know, like, that is happening.
Clearly.
So,
yeah.
There definitely is probably something, like, why would the Forsaken...
Because then this is where Halima's like, oh, Egwene, you're having another headache. Cabriana used to have them too. And then she moves behind Egwene and just starts, like, giving her a head massage.
Yeah, and Egwene is all about this, because this is a thing.
And she's like, this is great. I love this.
I love it, and I love that it's been happening, because it's been happening a bunch of times.
Which
like, this isn't the first
exactly
time.
like what was happening to Morgaze. Almost.
Yeah,
right?
like, yeah.
Where Morgaze was like, ooh, this is good that this is happening.
But this is the thing, it's like a lot more subtle than the Morgaze thing, obviously, because it's not like Ravine taking charge, but like, there's something super, so we gotta watch Egwene's actions, gotta see if it's any like Forsaken business, any funny business going on here.
Yeah, because then we learn that Egwene thinks that she rather likes Halima, and it's not just her talent for soothing away headaches.
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty good, but there's other things.
She likes her openness and friendliness, and even Chessa couldn't do it better.
It's like, come on, Chessa's your favorite.
Yeah, and so Egwene thinks that it might have been useful if the sisters accepted Cabriana's belief that Elaida intended to steal half of them and break the rest, but everyone is sure that Halima messed up the message somehow. And it's like, okay, maybe it is helpful for the people who are opposing Elaida to think Elaida's bad.
And I mean, maybe Halima is like subtly compelling Egwene to think that.
Seems that way.
So,
but it's also not the worst for the position Egwene is in.
It's not terrible.
But Egwene thinks about how women just don't like Halima for the way she looks, but she knows Halima isn't a fool.
Yeah. Yep.
She'd known that after their first conversation, the day after Logain escaped, when the headaches started.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the big thing. So Halima / Arengar / the Forsaken, right, who was a guy, wanted Logain dead or gone, and then the day after Logain is gone, has a meeting with Egwene, and the headaches start. And then Halima comes and gets rid of them all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense now.
All right. Now, Egwene thinks about her plan and a bunch of other things all at once here. And it's like, Halima's still massaging her head while this is happening.
Yeah, she also thinks about how Halima is keeping the headaches a secret, because if that news got out, every Yellow Sister would be here. And
that means Halima's her friend.
It's her friend, and she's super loyal. Not like, oh my god, the Yellow is going to figure out that something is going on. That's not just like, oh, you have a headache.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so Egwene thinks about a lot of things, like how there's 10 days to reach the Andor border, about how the harbors are key to taking Tar Valon, about how she can be sure about Nicola and Irina, and how she needs to have every sister tested before they reach Andor.
Yeah, so that's the big one here that I want to point out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Egwene thinks she needs to have every sister tested before they reach Andor, because she has the talent for working with metals and ores. We know that from her time with Sean
but it's
Shen.
rare, yeah.
But it's rare among Aes Sedai.
Uh-huh.
So is she testing all the Aes Sedai for, like, talents?
I guess.
Or for that specific talent?
I don't know. I
like,
think
what's
all
the
these
plan?
thoughts that are running through her head right now has to do with something with Halima, though.
Okay.
Because it's like while she's still having her head massaged.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if Halima can, like, read thoughts. Like, I don't know if that's a thing that anyone can do yet.
We've never really seen that.
Yeah.
Only between, like, Warders and Aes Sedai have we seen, like, hints of that.
But we have, like, the compulsion thing where they can, like, force thoughts into people's heads.
And they can ask you anything, but we haven't had, like, reading of thoughts before.
Right,
so.
yeah. But some of these thoughts might be superimposed.
They could be, so.
Yeah, I don't really know.
But the suggestion is, like, hey, go take a hot bath.
Go take a hot bath.
Yeah.
Take a hot bath, relax your muscles, and then I'll give you a full body massage, which is kind of creepy. Cause actually
super
like
creepy.
A dude.
Yeah. And Egwene's on the brink of sleep, but it's also, like, not even noon.
Yeah.
Like, you... and I get it, she's not sleeping very well, but...
Yeah, no, I know that. And then there was a sentence that I picked up on.
Okay.
Because, so she needs to have a full body massage so she can be supple enough that she can bend backwards and put her head between her ankles.
Yeah.
And I thought, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Because Moghedien for sure did that to Nynaeve already.
Yeah.
And Grandal certainly likes to...
So it's not good.
...bend people around and stuff. And so this is, like, clearly a little Forsaken torture-y thing.
Possibly.
And is this, like, foreshadowing...
Maybe.
...for what Halima will end up doing to Egwene.
Possibly. Yikes. There's a lot of big maybes there, so...
Yeah. All right. Anyways, it ends with her wanting to finally be the Amyrlin Seed.
Yeah, she's going to bring everybody healed because of her
I was thinking,
super secret plan.
I was thinking maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe she's on the path of doing good things for herself.
Sure.
And then this, like, frickin'
Halima is really ruining things right now for everybody.
Forsaken is just in here.
Like, what are you even doing?
Messing stuff up.
Hence the Forsaken symbol.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's probably not the merchant train from Camelin. But I'm going to keep my eye out for that.
Okay, just be on the lookout.
I'll be on the lookout.
There's new Forsaken, and they're all in the merchant wagons.
No, it's old ones.
Oh, it's old ones.
It's all the ones who have died.
All
brought back.
In 50 wagons.
Oh my god.
It's all their stuff.
It's all well, no. They have to keep up appearances. Just like the peddler
right?
train.
I get it.
Same.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Always be wary. Anyway, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited to read, because it
I
has
bet you
been
are.
a while, and I've really, really wanted to keep reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I'll give you the chapter title.
Okay.
Okay.
I read it already.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
I do. Okay, tell me, though.
The Bowl
Yeah.
of the Winds.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's one I did sneak a peek of, and I didn't forget. Normally, I, like, sneak a peek, and that doesn't mean anything, so I don't remember.
It's like this one. Wow.
This one feels like it means something.
Sure.
An official title, maybe?
Possibly.
For the bowl. Cloud Bowl.
Cloud Bowl.
I like Cloud Bowl better.
I do too, but some things have to change.
I hope we find it.
Oh, okay.
And I hope what I've predicted has come true.
Okay.
Where we think it's going to change the weather,
and it doesn't. Oh, no.
And it's going to be something else completely that changes the weather. Okay. That's what I want.
We'll see what happens.
I think that would be so interesting.
Here we go.
I need the Cloud Bowl to do something different than they think it's going to do.
Okay.
It's not just going to fix all your weather problems.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. I'm cool with that.
That's exciting.
Cool.
All right, so before you let a Forsaken wander in your tent and give you a full body massage, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Vince Lewick, and Margaret, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.